Tuesday, June 19th, 2018. It is now 8:10, and we can call the meeting to order. And the first item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
All rise, please. Remove your hats. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the roll call. Mayor Rowe.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
Present.
Councilman Racy.
Here.
Councilman Porter.
Here.
Councilman Gabriel.
Present.
Councilman Webster.
Here.
Councilman Dowd.
Here.
You do have a quorum with all 7 members present.
Thank you.
The next item is a moment of silence for the retired Lieutenant Stanley Sack from the police department. He has passed away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the first item on our agenda here is the administration of oath of City Council. Kevin Dowd was elected at the last council meeting. So Kevin will come forward, and also Charles Brown is going to administer the oath. So we'll have, yes. So, yeah. So if you'd like to come forward.
Hi, how are you doing?
Right. So here, and we'll have you raise your right hand, start Mr. Brown, and then we'll do the oath, okay?
I, Kevin Joseph Dowd,
I, Kevin Joseph Dowd,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Charter of the City of Wayne,
and the Charter of the City of Wayne,
and that I will perform my duties as a councilman of the City of Wayne
and I will perform my duties as a councilman of the City of Wayne
until November 12, 2018,
until November 12, 2018,
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my abilities, so help me God.
I think you were more nervous than Kevin was.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations again, Kevin.
Okay, do you want to sign there? And then do one other picture?
With Lori and Joe would be great.
Okay, okay. So, Kevin, if you'd like to sign,
Okay.
and then Charles will sign. Then we're going to do some additional photographs. So if you'd like to,
Where's Lori in it?
right?
Just when you thought getting married was hard.
With Lori, Joe, and I would be great.
Okay, all right. Good, you want- And then I can take your hair, put the rose between two doors. All right.
Thank you. I didn't prepare
Okay,
for that.
that's okay.
I wear my red dress.
Oh. Okay. Oh. I'm going to do one. I'll do another, just in case. Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Dowd, could you
Kevin,
could you
Introduce.
introduce them for us, please?
Joe is actually a friend of mine, been a friend, lifelong friend, also a resident of Wayne. And
bet you have any.
Great nephew of Mayor Tom Brown from the city of Westland. And when I started talking about this guy really was excited about the fact that I was putting my hand in the hat. So I wanted to honor him with scaring the crap out of you. Thank you.
Also, you'd like to introduce.
yes.
Lori, this is my better half.
Well, that's mistake one, Kevin.
Yeah, yep.
Thank you. The first item is item 1, approve the agenda. And I would like to ask, if possible, to move item 9B right after item 3B. 3B is the site plan for Ford Motor Company, and it kind of goes together with the vacation of John Hicks Road. I wanted to see if that could be moved, if possible.
Is there any objection?
Motion to approve with the recommended change.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Gabriel, supported by Councilman Porter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 2 are city council minutes. Item 2A are the special meeting minutes of June 5th.
Wish of council? It's been moved by Councilman Racy.
Webster.
I'm sorry, Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Webster. Moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Councilman Racy.
There we go.
Any corrections, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2B are the regular meeting minutes of June 5th.
Move approval. Support.
Was moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Councilman Webster. Any corrections, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next item is item 3, site plans. Item 3A is site plan number 2018-03 for Beaumont Hospital. Representing the site plan on the right there in the tie is Barry McDonald. He is working for Jay Sarnecki, who's the architect that's worked at the hospital many times. This is kind of a neat project over at Annapolis Hospital that we're glad to see happening. This is actually the renovation of an existing building on the campus and then actually building a connector over to that building. So on the northeast corner of the campus here is the small building that's up front of Annapolis Hospital. So Annapolis is here, Vinoy Road is on the east, often referred to as the Lang Memorial Building. This will now become the Beaumont Hospital Breast Care Center. And so they are currently located on the east side of Vinoy. They're going to actually be leaving that smaller building, renovating this entire building, and then building this connector from the surgery center over to the new building, or the new breast care center. Currently, if you look at the hospital, they have kind of like awnings and kind of side panels, so it's a temporary structure. They're actually constructing this 1,500 square foot addition. Here, the addition will look like the rest of the renovations on the building. So you can see they've got the score block, or the brick here to the belt, brick here, kind of the curved canopies that will match the front of the newly renovated building also. The building's 6,630 square feet. They're going to take the entire building, change it all around. They're going to have a new reception area. This is kind of a color rendering of what the reception area will be when you come into the building. That's this portion here, which is on the north side of the building. They're going to build out the space for the breast care center and then have that permanent connection over to the surgery center. Via the surgery center, you can go into the main hospital also. The plans there are, again, to kind of modernize the look of the front building, the Lang building, again, with that front entranceway, and again, just to continue their presence here in our community. Also, they've assured me that, of course, the first question I asked is, what's going to happen to the old breast care center too? So they, Beaumont assures us they have a plan. They don't know what they're going to do with the building, but they do know it is there. They do want to take care of it, and they are looking for a use for it within the system. So this was approved at the Planning Commission with 5 conditions of approval. And I did want to thank Barry and Jay from Sarnecki. They provided really nice plans for us. So that's why there's only 5 conditions, because they met all the conditions almost. So thank you.
Move approval with the 5 conditions.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. Are there any questions from the council?
Hit something.
Yes.
I just wanted to say I just appreciate them doing this.
this is actually a really good thing for our community, because currently if a lady has an issue, they have to go across the street and deal with it, and when you find out that you may have cancer or something, it's very traumatic. And so now they're going to be right there at the hospital, and they go right into the hospital and they're able to deal with it. So it's going to alleviate a lot of those problems for them, and it's going to be a better service for our community and residents around us. So thank you to Beaumont for what they're doing with this.
Any other questions or comments? No? Anyone in the audience? No? Okay. It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you and welcome. Any idea how long it's going to take?
We're finished. We hope to have our construction documents done before the end of July.
Okay.
And then it will go out to bid, and we have to send them up to the state.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know exactly what the time frame for construction is, but it would be this year, hopefully, hopefully.
Okay. Thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
Next item.
Okay, the next item is item 3B. This is the site plan number 2018-04 for Ford Motor Company. Representing the site plan this evening, right in the front row, is Doug Shoemaker from Ford Land in the blue shirt, and then Mike Abraham from Gala and Associates. They're representing this plan. This is actually in the extreme southwest corner of the plant. So if you're if you're looking at these plans, Michigan Avenue would be here. Hicks Road will follow down on the west side, and then this is kind of that southwest corner of the building itself, or of the plant itself, and then the train tracks kind of are off the plan here on the south, just to kind of orient you where this is going to occur. They're coming before us for the construction of a status release gate. It's a 1,290 square foot building, and this is what it will look like. It's in essence kind of a pole barn type structure. There are some of these throughout the plant in and of itself, but this is actually kind of playing a key role in the function of what we approved about a month ago for Ground Effects, which is the new 40,000 square foot factory that's being built just to the west that's adjacent to this plant. This is the release gates that will actually, it will record the car when it leaves and then when it comes back in. So it's really kind of an inventory control building, so that the cars will go out and then the cars will come in, they'll be scanned, and they'll know that it's over being worked on at Ground Effects and then it's back on plant property. So it's again a 1,200 square foot building. It's being built right at that corner of the property, and then this is the property line, and then it's going to make a smooth transition over to the Ground Effects property over there. And that's kind of why I asked for item 9B to be moved. We'll talk about that, about the vacation of Hicks Road as playing part of this whole project also. But again, it's kind of a simple project from what we usually see at Ford. We usually see, 40 pages of plans. Mike brings them in a truck. These are it's a little more simple project for us. But again, it's playing an important part in our connection with Ground Effects. So the Planning Commission did recommend this to you with 4 conditions of approval.
Motion to approve with the 4 contingencies.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Councilman Webster. Any questions, discussion? Any questions from the audience? Yes.
Is any consideration being put, because I did not know last month what was approved, and I live on John Hicks,
Okay.
and I am disgusted with the way Ford takes care of their property, and I am disgusted with the fact that we cannot get any help with the traffic going down John Hicks. We are a dirt road, and it is tearing up the road. How much more traffic are we going to have? Is there any discussion on traffic control? I mean, it's going to be more traffic, and we're a subdivision.
Yes.
Answer that if you'd like.
Yes.
Actually, what's good about this, I failed to mention it actually is that no traffic will be going on the public street. So this will be a direct connection from the plant over to Ground Effects and back. So they won't be utilizing Maple, they won't be utilizing John Hicks. So it'll be a direct connection, and that's again, I did fail to mention that, but that is positive for this direct connection also.
All right, okay. And thank you for voicing your concerns, having Ford Land here. I'm sure they heard them.
Before the meeting.
Pardon me? No, but I mean, Ford Land was here, so they will take your concerns back and under consideration, I'm certain. So it's been moved by, any other questions? No? It's been moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Councilman Webster to accept the site plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you and welcome and good luck. Next
item 9B is to approve the vacation of a portion of John Hicks Road south of Maple Avenue to the Michigan Central Railroad. So this will be referred to in your packet as 8B. So if you need to look at that or make any reference to that, I'll go to the map, maybe that'll show you exactly where we're at. This is actually John Hicks, not Maple. So John Hicks on the plat maps extends south of Maple to the railroad tracks. It is not improved. But if you look at the plat map, it actually looks like a road could go there. So what happens is Ford has made a request to vacate all of John Hicks here so that we will be able to have that direct connection over, because currently it's city property, and in order to drive over city property, they'd have to improve it as a road. Well, of course, this doesn't function as part of our circulation for traffic, or that we want to improve it as a road because of the railroad, and we could not have a crossing there. So they petitioned the city to vacate the road, but since it's kind of a little confusing, since half of this road is in Louis Savage Garfield Park subdivision on the plat, what usually happens is the road gets divided in half, and half would go to each neighbor. So Ford Motor Company would get half, and then Ground Effects would get half. This can't occur in this situation because the Ford property is not in a platted subdivision. So it is not in, say Riverview Highlands sub or anything like that. So what is happening is when we vacate the street, half will go to Ground Effects, and then we have kind of a sliver of land that is, of course, we don't want to have no man's land either. So, so what we're proposing is, of course, is to go through with the vacation, and then eventually this actually becomes a little sliver of city-owned property. So in the future, you will see that we're going to be selling that to Ground Effects, so that they will incorporate it within their whole site, and then Ground Effects will come up right to the Ford line, and then Ford will go to the Ground Effects line, and we'll have that smooth connection. That is not before us this evening, but it is a little different because usually when we vacate property, the city isn't left with a piece, we actually are getting rid of land. And so this way we kind of are picking up a little piece that we do need to eventually would like to sell to Ground Effects.
Okay.
But before us this evening, they did have a public hearing at the Planning Commission. They did recommend to the City Council to continue with this vacation down John Hicks from Maple south to the Michigan Central Railroad, and to retain the easements that are in place.
Okay. Wish of council?
We move to approve.
Support.
It was moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Racy. Are there any questions, discussion? Anyone in the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Miro,
Yes.
I'd just like to ask that the 14 that are here tonight, if you could take back those concerns regarding the aesthetics of the plant on Michigan Ave would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. The next item on our agenda is item 4, presentations. Item 4A is an update on Next Generation 911 from the Conference of Western Wayne. And Jordan Selleck is here. She's the Executive Director of the Conference of Western Wayne. Right. Hi, Jordan.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you. My name is Jordan Selleck, and I'm the Executive Director and 911 Coordinator for the Conference of Western Wayne, or CWW. Thank you for having me here tonight to speak on Next Generation 911 and what it means for our communities. Let me first just give you a brief overview on what CWW is so you can further understand the role that we play in the 911 community. Our board is comprised of the 18 mayors and supervisors from Western Wayne County. We meet regularly on a monthly basis to discuss and take positions on legislation that affect local governments, as well as to deliberate and implement best practices for promoting our region as a whole. Our primary purpose is dualfold. We participate in local government advocacy, mostly in Lansing, but we also sometimes engage in federal issues. The board takes formal positions on legislation, and CWW staff testifies in Lansing on behalf of our member communities. We are nonpartisan, nonprofit, and we work together to promote the Western Wayne County region. The other primary purpose of CWW is that we serve as one of the 911 service districts in Wayne County. Wayne County is the only county in the state that does not have countywide 911, and instead 911 is divided among 4 service districts that include our local municipalities. There are 12 911 call centers, or dispatch centers, in the CWW area, including Detroit Metro Airport. CWW oversees and coordinates large regional 911 projects. For instance, in 2016, we made interim text to 911 available in Western Wayne County, and we are the only service district to do so. We are also the fiduciary agency for the state and local 911 surcharges. The current 911 infrastructure that Wayne County operates on is the 1960s copper wire technology designed for landline telephones, and our call routing mechanisms were developed in the 1970s. Our 911 system has served us very well for 50 years. However, with the ever-changing and developing technology, we can no longer continue to retrofit those old copper lines to appropriately handle today's wireless world. Our 12 911 call centers receive about 500,000 911 calls annually. Over 80% of those calls are made on wireless devices. That means that over 80% of our calls are made on technology that our 911 infrastructure was not developed to handle. One of the most significant issues is causes is location accuracy. If you call 911 from a landline phone, which I'm guessing a vast majority of you no longer have, 911 will get your actual address. If you call 911 from your wireless device, 911 will get geo coordinates or XY coordinates. And by federal law, those geo coordinates only have to be within a 100-yard accuracy 67% of the time, and within 300-yard accuracy 90% of the time. As you can imagine, if you are experiencing an emergency, you really do not want first responders to be dispatched 3 football fields or even 1 football field away from your location. Next Generation 911 will replace that 1960s copper infrastructure with an IP network or fiber lines. Fiber allows for greater bandwidth and will allow wireless calls to 911 to be transmitted efficiently and effectively. NG 911 will allow greater amounts of data along with or instead of the voice call. This will include the ability for the caller to send photos, videos, and crash data from in-vehicle automated systems. It will allow both dispatchers and first responders to have tangible data on an emergency prior to arriving on scene. For example, firefighters could see video of a fire and determine if a hazmat team needed to be dispatched as well. During a bank robbery, 911 could even tap into a bank security camera system and survey the situation prior to having police enter the building. Our current text to 911 solution is interim. It's a retrofitted solution that does not provide for a 911 center to initiate a text conversation. NG 911 would provide for a permanent text to 911 solution and allow for a call center to initiate a text conversation and further give those with speech or hearing impairments equal access to 911. CWW recently lobbied for the passage of Senate Bill 400 to provide a funding mechanism for the deployment of NG 911 infrastructure statewide. Our efforts were successful, and we have entered into an agreement with a company called Peninsula Fiber Network for the NG 911 conversion process. However, this funding mechanism does not cover equipment. In order for Next Generation 911 to operate, our 911 call center equipment needs to be compatible. The primary component in need of an upgrade is the 911 phone system. Of our 12 call centers, 3 need complete upgrades and 1 needs what's called a hardware refresh. Two that are needing a complete upgrade have systems back from 2008, and the other is from 2010, and the 2010 system is already in the process of being upgraded. The system that needs a refresh is from 2012. The remaining call centers have upgraded their equipment within the past 5 years, and most within the last 3, and will just need a quick software upgrade to switch them from being able to work with the copper lines to be able to work with the fiber lines, and that's a relatively nominal cost. The call center that provides dispatch services for the City of Wayne is in need of a complete upgrade, as its phone system is over a decade old. We have been in continuous contact with all CWW police, fire, and dispatching agencies throughout this process, as well as with our board of directors. We recently had the NG911 company, Peninsula Fiber Network, and our project managers give a presentation to our first responding agencies on what to expect throughout this process. Before we can continue on with the project, communities will need to decide whether to purchase the new equipment or to contract with another community to provide 911 dispatch services. We do have some time to make these decisions, but they do need to be made sooner rather than later so that we can continue moving forward with the Next Gen 911 project. The documents I provided you go into a bit more depth about CWW and 911, and my card is in there as well with my contact information. I very much appreciate Mayor Rowe inviting me here to give you an update on this, and I know it's kind of a quick overview, and 911's relatively complicated. But we all know that our residents have an understandably high expectation for 911, police, fire, and EMS services. So at this time, if you have any questions, if that's appropriate, I'm more than happy to take them.
Are there any questions? No? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jordan. I appreciate it.
Sure.
You have a good summer. Next item.
It's item 4B. This is an annual report from the Senior Alliance by Tamara Kiger, the CEO. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Rowe, Clerk Miller, Mayor Pro Tem Miller, and council members. My name is Tamara Kiger. I am the CEO at the Senior Alliance. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight about our agency. Once a year, we visit each of our 34 communities to report on the vital services we provide for residents of our service area. The local match amount from your community of $1,524 last year helped us to provide services noted on the one-page report in your packet. It has several graphs on it. As noted in the report, we provided services to 444 Wayne residents in fiscal year 2017. 257 clients were served by the Information and Assistance Call Center located at our office. This call center receives over 40,000 calls a year. Their primary purpose is to help individuals with any questions they may have or resource referrals. 86 clients were served through our in-home services programs. Those include the My Choice Medicaid Waiver Program, which helps low-income seniors and adults with disabilities receive the care they need to stay in their own home versus living in a nursing facility. We also have the Nursing Facility Transition Program, which assists qualified individuals in returning to the community from a nursing facility. We have care management and care coordination support, which provides individuals 60 and older with in-home services, and that's funded with the Older Americans Act. 8 clients were served in our non-emergency transportation program with a total of 18 rides. 93 clients were served in our nutrition program, most commonly known as Meals on Wheels. So this doesn't just include home delivered meals, but it also has congregate meals and a liquid nutrition option. So while we operate a budget of almost $30 million, I'm proud to report to you that only 4% of our budget is used for administration, which means 96% of our dollars go back into the communities where we serve. Our audits are unqualified and have had no findings, recommendations, or management letters for at least the last 10 years. I've also included in your information packet information regarding the Community for a Lifetime designation. The Community for Lifetime program is part of a broader national aging-friendly communities movement, such as AARP's Livable Communities. The goal is for communities where we live to be communities for people of all ages and life stages. The Senior Alliance is poised to assist all communities in achieving this important designation. We thank you for helping us serve older adults and their caregivers. Your long-standing support is greatly appreciated. We work continually to inform the community of the services we offer. If there are any events you'd like us to attend and provide information about our services, please feel free to contact us. If you or anyone watching at home would like further information about the Senior Alliance and the programs we provide, please contact us by calling 800-815-1112 or emailing us at info@thesenioralliance.org, visiting our newly designed website at www.thesenioralliance.org. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at AAA1C. So again, thank you very much for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Mayor Rowe. Do you do any evaluations of any communities and provide some recommendations to that community on what they can do better to facilitate a more good environment for our seniors?
Yeah, we do. It's part of that Communities for a Lifetime assessment, which is, I have several with me, but it's quite a long, lengthy process, but our team really likes to work with communities and give recommendations specifically related to housing, accessibility, transportation options. Is your community a walkable community? Is it safe? What things could you work on to improve and make it more friendly, aging friendly? So yes, we do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
If you'd love to come and we'd love to have you come out and see our campus. We're at 5454 Vinoy Road. It was the former RESA Wayne County kind of learning center. So please give me a call. My card is in the packet. We'd love to give you a tour. Thank you.
It's a very nice facility. They have a lot of programs out there. So please, if you know of someone who is aging and wishes to stay in their home, please reach out. Give them the information that Tamara has provided for us, because it will be very worthwhile for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
The next item is item 4C. This is an update from Wayne Main Street on Downtown Days by Maxwell Cameron.
Good evening, Mayor, members of Council. My name is Maxwell Cameron. I'm the Executive Director for Wayne Main Street. Wanted to be here tonight to share with you an update on our upcoming Downtown Days events. Our second annual Downtown Days is happening July 12th to the 14th this year. And I'm just excited to share with you that we have a ton of activities happening that I think our community is really going to enjoy, and also will help bring visitors from surrounding communities down into Wayne. So just a couple of quick highlights for you. You know, this year we really wanted to focus on a couple of key areas. Obviously promoting the arts in our community, featuring live music, as well as promoting sales and unique markets. So one of the things that we're going to be kicking off Downtown Days with on the Thursday will be our DIA drop-in workshop. This is actually the second year we've been able to partner with the Detroit Institute of Arts. As you remember, or as you may recall, we had the Inside Out program here last year, and through that we got hooked up with their drop-in workshop. They had such a great time in our community. They had such an amazing turnout in terms of kids participating in the event. They actually asked us to be here all 3 days of Downtown Days. So we're going to be hosting them Thursday through Saturday at the lot adjacent to the Knights of Columbus there. And the KFC will also be hosting some live entertainment every day starting at 6. They have a tribute concert series that's happening. Once again, I'm pleased to tell you that we've partnered with the Wayne Rotary Club at the launch of the Concerts in the Park series. So we're going to be having a Friday night concert in Gowdy Park with Steve King and the Diddleys. They were our band for last year's event, so we're really happy to have them back again this year. And we're going to have a ton of unique sales opportunities, obviously, with Northside Hardware doing their traditional sidewalk sales. A lot of fun there. We're also going to be doing 3 unique markets on Saturday. The Knights of Columbus are going to be hosting the Rusty Trike Antique Flea Market. Helium Studio will be hosting their Makers Market, their 4th annual Makers Market, behind their building there in the municipal lot. And the museum will be doing a vendor show and open house with kids activities. So there really is a lot happening in our community this summer, and we want everybody to get out there and enjoy all downtown has to offer. We are also proud to have the support of a free shuttle service on the Saturday. So when people are hopping from site to site, they can utilize our free shuttle. We will have bus stops out denoting kind of where the shuttle starts and stops. And I've only really scratched the surface with all the unique events going on. So what I would encourage you to do, and all the residents, to find out more about what's going on that weekend, visit our webpage, downtownwayne.org/downtown days. We have a full listing of all of our events. We'll also be having a mailing going out fairly shortly here that provides a list of all the happenings throughout the weekend. And stop by a local store and pick up our event flyers or look out for our posters. So wanted to make you aware of all the great things that are happening in downtown, and we're just super excited.
Okay. Are you going to have a little respite site for us after all those days? We're going to need a rest somewhere.
Well, definitely, Sunday's a time and opportunity to rest. I would also make mention, if you are feeling like you want to put yourself to work that weekend, we're recruiting volunteers for the event. So if you want to reach out to our office, either at director@downtownwayne.org, which is my email, or call us at 734-629-6822. We can talk about getting you in on a volunteer shift.
Okay. Any questions from members? No? Anyone in the audience? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Maxwell. Doing a good job as usual.
Okay, item 4D. This is a retiree healthcare update by Plant and Moran. By Ed Murphy, and as Justin Hadley too is present. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Rowe and Council.
Good evening.
Thanks for having us here today to help explain some of the options that you're faced with in terms of retiree medical. Just by way of brief review, this is back on the agenda after the legal opinion that took place in late January of this year, saying that after the appeal, the city was able to move forward with putting forth a health reimbursement plan. And I'll let Justin talk about the numbers, but basically what this is going to outline tonight is what we've previously discussed, where we'll look at the costs that were incurred in 2017, what's expected to be incurred in 2018, projected 2019 costs, and then Justin will walk you through what costs were incurred because the plan did not go into place effective July 1 of 2017, and then some options for the setting of a health reimbursement account level prospectively. So with that, Justin, you want to take it?
Sure. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. Recapping the prior year and a half as well as looking at 2019, the city spent $1,312,000 in retiree healthcare costs in 2017. It's projected in 2018 to increase slightly to $1,316,000 through the end of this year. If the plans and everything remains the same for 2019, that cost will then increase to a projected $1,325,000. As Ed had alluded to or mentioned earlier, with the injunction that took place June 30th of 2017 and the current state being replaced or reinstated effective July 1st, 2017, and through essentially the end of 2018. So an 18-month period, the city will have incurred an additional $1.183 million in healthcare costs for retirees. In terms of proposals as it relates to the healthcare reimbursement stipends, the proposed July 1st, 2017 stipends would have cost the city $516,000. And if we look at what was discussed in the prior session in terms of proposed HRA stipends or health reimbursement account stipends for January 1st of 2019, we looked at three options. Option one would be the city does not pay for any retiree health care beginning January 1st, 2019, which would result in an annual savings of $1,325,000. Option two, the city would offer 50% of the proposed 2017 stipends, which would result in a total cost of $267,000, resulting in a net savings to the city of $1,058,000 for 2019. And then option three, the city offers 100% of the stipend that was proposed to go in effect July 1st of 2017. Total cost to the city would be $525,000 for calendar year 19, with like projected cost savings of $800,000 to the city. Any questions?
Are there any questions? No? Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Apologize. Item 5 are business licenses and permits. Item 5A is to approve the 2018-19 materials recovery license at Scrap Busters at 39165 Maple.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster. Any questions, discussion? No? Anyone in the audience? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 5B is to approve the 2018-19 materials recovery license at Wayne Car and Truck Parts at 34939 Brush Street.
Move to approve. Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster. Any discussion or questions? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is item 6, ordinances and amendments. Item 6A is the first reading of ordinance number 2018-05, amendments to chapter 1200, which is the planning and zoning code regarding medical marijuana facilities.
Could you give just a little background on this for members of the audience?
Sure. This is, a couple months ago, the council approved a medical marijuana ordinance that would permit certain facilities for locating throughout the city. And that was written in our business regulations section of our ordinance. And upon the recommendation of the consultants that we had that were here from McKenna Associates, they also recommended that we needed to also amend our zoning ordinance to permit the use that the council permitted to occur within the land use within our different zoning district categories. So that's kind of why this is back before us again, so that if somebody wants to locate in a district one of these uses, our zoning ordinance was actually silent on this use. So our zoning ordinance was is outdated to new uses that come along. When the zoning ordinance was started, this was not a use that was permitted in the state and then approved by council later. So we needed to address that. We do have 3 existing facilities in the city that comply currently with just the business regulation section, but the zoning was silent on that. And at the time, we were given the advice that it was okay to permit them to comply with the business regulation section and allowed to occur in any zone that they landed in if they complied with the 1,000-foot radius. So, but in order to make both the business regulation and planning and zoning be congruent, it was necessary to look at our zoning ordinance, and that's what the staff did. They put together this list, and then we presented it to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did recommend to the City Council to permit this first reading to occur. And how it lays out in this packet is that, first of all, in our zoning ordinance, chapter 1230 is about definitions, and it defines specifically what a medical marijuana facility is, or we refer to it as facility going forward, and exactly all of those 5 different license types that were allowed in the city. And actually, that's an exact copy of that. I didn't change, the staff recommended no changes from that definition to our zoning definitions. And then from there, each of these uses is allowed in certain zoning districts. So if you look down on the left in the B3, the B4, it would allow for medical marijuana facilities subject to the restrictions set forth in chapter 838. So the use would be permitted in that zoning district as long as it can comply with the entire ordinance that the council wrote. Then we also had to add these IB, I1, and I2 because many of those uses can only occur if it is not a provisioning center. The other uses have to occur in the industrial zone. So we had to address that industrial zone also in our zoning ordinance. So that's why we see that, and we spelled that out. I spelled it out by the definition of chapter, by the number 1230, and then all of those uses have a specific chapter number in our ordinance, and that's where we made sure that we would not miss any of those and make sure that we included the use that was approved by the council. Then, of course, once this, if this gets approved, we'll have a second reading, and then eventually it will become codified. It will be published, and it will become law then in the city for the zoning ordinance. Then eventually you all will get the copies that you need to insert in your books that I send to you eventually once a year. So, but again, the Planning Commission did recommend this to you. It was not unanimous. It was a 5-2 vote to go forward with this first reading and have the zoning ordinance amended as such.
Wish of council?
Move to support.
Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Porter. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
So this will be at a future meeting for the second reading and the publication. Thank you. The next item is item 7, appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Item 7A is to approve the resignation of the new councilman, Kevin Dowd, from the Public Housing Commission. Since he is serving as the council, he cannot serve on the commission.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Dowd, for your service.
Then the next item is item 7B. This is to approve the appointment of David James, 3432 West Ridge Court, to the Public Housing Commission to fill the unexpired term of Kevin Dowd until March 2020.
Move approval.
Was moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster, I believe. Any discussion? Question? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Mr. James is here.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. James.
Thank you,
Yes, present. Thank you. The next item is item 8, general items. Oh, I apologize. This is supposed to be communications and reports. Is item 8, communications report. Item 8A, Community Development Department 2017 Annual Report. Which was at your place.
Yes. Each of you received the Community Development Department's 2017 annual report from Ms. Goen. Do you have anything you'd like to go over? No? Okay. So if you would just look it over, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact Ms. Goen. Thank you, Lori. It was a good report.
Okay. The next item is item 9, general items for consideration. Item 9A is to approve the retiree health care stipend. And this would be referred to as 8A in your packets.
Okay. All right. City Manager, Ms. Noserini, is Katie going to handle this, or you, or who?
Thank you. That's a great question. Well, basically, I mean, the option, what we have done is obviously Carrie had sent you an email this morning. Hope you all received it with regards to Mayor Pro Tem, the question that you had. Councilman Racy, you had a question about other, the 23 opt-outs. And so that information coupled with these items right here, basically, really, Mayor, it's up to the council to deliberate at this point and provide direction to the city, to the administration on what direction you'd like to go into.
All right. All of you received again this evening at your place the Plant Moran summary of health care, the health plan cost information. I believe that this is where we should start. And you've been given the numbers and the figures. So I would like to know feelings, general thoughts from members of the council regarding this.
Should we move the agenda if there's no recommendations?
Well, we do need to make some type of recommendation. As you know, you received in your packet the letter that was sent to the Treasury giving the plan that was required for our retiree health care because we are underfunded in it. And this is something that we need to act on in order for Katie to complete the evaluation that she has to finish to get to the Treasury because they are looking at this, at our status. So we need to make a decision one way or the other what we wish to do. So, we have a...
Mayor, I'd like to say that I feel that we owe these people. I know that we can cut them off with the current decision rendered to us, but I feel that we owe them more than we can possibly pay them, but it also cost us a lot of money and is continuing to cost us money to litigate this since it is under appeal. So it's hard for me to go back to the original stipend, which I would have liked to have done, but at this time I'm sort of on the fence. I can't decide what I want to do. With regards to what the Mayor Pro Tem asked in his email, I'm definitely not in favor of that. I feel that both the employees and their spouses or dependents deserve the health care, not just the employee. And so I would say do away with that totally. That's my opinion right this time.
Okay. Do you have, so you have no, either from option 1 or option 2 that was given to us, and then there was option 3.
I'm here to let someone make me go one way or the other.
Okay.
I would also like
Mayor,
to know.
Point of order.
Yes.
Do we need a motion for discussion?
No, because we don't know what we're going to. How are we going to?
Is this a general item for discussion?
It's a general item for consideration. So
items for consideration.
So a recommendation should be made, and then you discuss each of those merits depending on the option selected or the option made as a motion.
Okay.
So you need a motion?
So we need, yes.
I'll make a motion for option 2 with, but I have a revision that I'd like to make to it. I think, well, I know, in my opinion, there were retirees that got off the health care plan because they were trying to save the city money. And I'd like to see a one-time opportunity for them, if they want to get back on, if they don't have health care. From my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, that there's some that have health care coverage right now, but down the road they're concerned that they won't have health care coverage because they were planning it to go back to the city's health care. So that they would have that opportunity down the road when they don't have that opportunity anymore with their current employment, that they could get back onto the city health care at that time. That's what I would recommend.
Okay, is there support for that?
Support.
I'm sorry?
I support it.
Okay. It was moved then to adopt or discuss option number 2, which is the city offers 50% of the proposed original 2017 stipend amounts, with the stipulation that if, and I'm gathering, if people do not have health care, they can come back. If
I think there's what 23, 27, yeah, 23.
23.
That's only if they don't have current health care.
Correct, but then they could come back later down the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we give them a certificate or something that they can come later, that they can. I'm not sure how to do that. That what this council approves, but I want to make sure that they have the opportunity. If they retire in 15 years, and that was what they, who knows what it will be in 15 years, but they have that opportunity if health care is provided by the city, that they can come in and be able to still get the benefit that they worked like everybody else did it. They shouldn't lose it.
Mayor?
Okay. All right. Yes.
May I just clarify?
Yes.
So, Councilman, just to be clear through the chair.
Yes.
What you're asking for is the 23 that opted out because they had health care elsewhere.
Correct.
That if they lose their health care through their spouse or their workplace, that they can provide that information to the city.
Yes.
That they can opt back in under the stipend plan that they would qualify for.
Correct.
This does not mean that the people who are not on the insurance because they chose to either they didn't pay for it, opted out completely, that doesn't include that group, correct?
Correct.
Only the 23.
Correct.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, my only thing with that is our point that we're trying to do here is make healthcare a fixed cost, essentially, so we have a number to put in a report to satisfy the state and treasury. And if we're having a variable in place, it null and voids the whole argument of this is what our costs are going to be moving forward, because it can fluctuate. Now I get it, it's a small amount, 23 people, stipend of 200 or so, 500, however it might be. Sure, it's a small nominal amount. However, it's just not really effective to what we're doing. Realistically, it should be an all or none, because if you hopped off to benefit the city, cool, that's great. That was your prerogative. However, if something were to happen, it's not like a revolving door, because if it does go out, then it's like a backtrack of, oh, I didn't do this, X, Y, and Z. I should be compensated. Again, not saying it's going to happen, but again, one argument could be made that way. Also, too, to put in my 2 cents on the whole thing, Tom, like you were saying, we owe these people, but really, do we mean these words as a council when we're talking about putting them on a stipend, which they've worked to get? And again, I get it. We were supposed to be broke by this time when we were trying to pass SMORSA, and the projections was we were going to be broke, but we're still here solvent. We're fine. Sure, it's not beautiful, but there's no purpose in cutting things if we're still able to make ends meet. Realistically, It should come down to last resort. And quite frankly, we keep balancing the budget. We've already balanced the budget with the current healthcare already in it, from my understanding. So why can't we just keep moving forward, take it 1 year at a time?
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to that? Yes, Councilman Racy.
I'm sorry, but that just makes no sense whatsoever. We just went through a whole court battle to try to solve this issue because we know that we don't have the money. And it would not be in the best interest of the community or the retirees, because we're going to go broke in that direction very, very quickly, and then it's going to affect other things. I think we try to do the best we can under the circumstances, but to say that we just start to pay, I think you need to go and talk to the Plant Moran and come in for some of the meetings when we have the financial meetings, because we're getting these reports about what's going on, and it's not good, you know, long term. And we have to come up with a plan to sustain the community in the future. If we don't do anything, that would probably be the stupidest thing we could do at this time.
Madam Mayor, all due respect, I'd like to make for the record that I've not missed one financial meeting. I've had the same communication as all the council members. I just have a different perspective. So although I do appreciate your comments, it might be professional to stick with the facts at hand. But again, nonetheless, why even give a stipend at the end of it all? Why not cut it completely? Because we can't afford it. If that's the whole purpose, why are we just trying to dance around it? It seems like we have to deal with healthcare every single year, even before the stipend came about. So at the end of it all, if we're trying to get out of it, why dance? I'm not going to support that, but why do we keep doing that?
Thank you.
Mayor Rowe?
Yes.
To both these councilmen's points, to Councilman Gabriel, healthcare is going to continue. Healthcare is going to continue to rise every year. Okay, and to Councilman Racy's point, we do need to find. Quite frankly, the state is forcing our hands on this matter. Okay, with these requirements. All right, they forced us without revenue sharing. They forced us without being able to gain revenue from the manufacturing sector. So, you know, that's why, and this is to Councilman Porter's point, that's why I'm looking at what these people are owed, that they worked it. It's part of their paycheck. Okay? For the very least that we should be doing is providing for the people that actually came to work every day and served this community. I'm sorry, I wish I could afford everybody else, including the family. But, you know, I'm caught between two hardballs here, okay? And I'm trying to find what's a decent, respectable thing to do for the people that punched in every day for this city. And that's where I came up with that thought. I would love to be able to provide for all of them, but at least we can do is to find something respectable for these individuals that punch into work every day. Okay, we don't have a choice. We have to provide. We have to try to find the middle ground here on this. This isn't done either. It's going to continue to go through the court system to the next level, to the Michigan State Supreme Court. We're going to be paying more for litigation and attorney fees on this matter. It's not over. So, you know, as a council, I think we need to find where we can do the right thing for these people, and at the same time, comply within some reason with the state until another day comes where we have a better chance of this fight.
My thoughts on this are, I agree with Councilman Racy and also Councilman Porter. This isn't easy. It isn't easy at all, folks. but we were all up here. We have to save money. By going with this option 2 right now, the way it is, we'd be saving $1,058,000. That's a lot of money. With those types of savings, eventually we will be able to hire some police. We'll be able to look at putting money aside into the rainy day fund, but then also hiring police officers. And more cities are not offering retiree health care for new hires, so that will not be an issue down the road for us. But $1 million, that's a lot of money that we can put to use in the city to have the city to be the safe place that we all want it to be. This is very difficult, but I agree. I cannot in good conscience this cut, and like the court case said, we don't have to provide any retiree health care at all. I can't do that. But I'm not going to put the city's financial future in jeopardy either. And that was one of my big issues when I started, and that's what I hope we can finish with. So I agree with the motion that Councilman Racy has put forth. Do we have any other questions? Yes.
I got something. So it was said that the question was asked, how long do we need to do this dance? And we need to do this dance as long as we possibly can. We owe these people that came and protected us and took us to the hospital and did all these things for us. So we need to do this as long as we possibly can. We owe them that much. And with somebody saying that they need to make the respectable decision just to cover that one person, I could not look somebody in the eye if their spouse didn't have health care and something happened to them, and my response was, that's the respectable decision. Couldn't do it. Option 2 is the best middle ground at this point. It's not what they deserve, but it's the option I think we need to go with at this time.
Mayor.
Yes.
It was my understanding also that this will not be a contractual issue. This will strictly be what we want to do. So if our city turns around and our finances turn around, we could offer more in the future. Mm-hmm. Is that correct from what I've understood?
I'm sorry. Through the chair? Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any further questions, discussion? No? Okay. Then do you wish a roll call vote? Okay. Yeah. Roll call vote. There has been a motion made by Councilman Racy and supported by Councilman Webster to go with option 2 with the stipulation that a life event can allow you to come back.
The first to vote is Mayor Pro Tem Miller.
No.
Councilman Racy.
Yes.
Councilman Porter.
Yes.
Councilman Gabriel.
No.
Councilman Webster.
Yes.
Councilman Dowd.
Yes.
Mayor Rowe.
Yes.
The motion does carry by a 5-2 vote.
Thank you, gentlemen. This is probably the hardest decision that we have had to make in these 3 years sitting here. So I appreciate all of the work that the staff has put into it. We will continue to provide the same services that we did back last year for the retiree health care folks. We will be bringing in an independent group to come in and meet with each individual retiree and try and find the best possible coverage for them with them getting the stipend payment. So I think in the end, it's the best that we can offer right now at this time. Thank you. Pardon me? And this is effective January 1. So it gives them time. Next item
is item 9C. This is to approve the sale of 34521 Norris Street, parcel number 55-18-02-0061-304 to Juan and Maria Cortez who live at 3629 Clark Street in Wayne for $5,000.
Move
to
approval.
approve.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller. Is there support?
Support.
It's been supported by Councilman Racy. And Ms. Goin, do you have anything to say on these items?
Actually, the new homeowners are here with us today. I'm just glad that they have taken the risk of purchasing this home. I'd like to share with all of you that we've had several people look at this house in the last 2 years, and they are the only ones. I think they're going to have a special on HGTV, and they haven't told me yet. They have bought a fixer-upper, and I'm just really, really pleased that they've chosen to invest, and they're going to be living in the home. So welcome to Wayne, and thank you, Council.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, and hopefully you will be on HGTV with the fixer-upper. Good luck to you.
The next item is item 9D. This is to approve the sale of 34834 Glover Street, parcel 55-019-02-0830-002 to Chad and Kate Smith, who live at 34842 Glover in Wayne for $1,000. This is their side lot.
Okay. Wish of council?
Approval. Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sorry. Did you have anything? Okay. You gave us a lot of information, so. Next item then.
And then is item 9E. This is to approve the sale of Hannon Road, 55-010-01-0082-000 to Sharon Ford at 4097 Hannon for $1,500.
Move approval.
approval.
Mayor Pro Tem Miller moved and Councilman Webster supported. Okay. Any discussion? All in, yes.
I do have something on this one.
Okay.
I had a question earlier. This Mrs. Ford purchased the lot. It's actually behind her lot, and this sale was a direct result of sending letters to the the two surrounding neighbors. That was something the city manager suggested that I do. I even have spoken to the man on Annapolis and Chamberlain. Unfortunately, he does not want to purchase his lot. So we are getting quite a few of these parcels moved, and we will continue to be aggressive.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I got a question.
Yes.
It's with this. It'll
Sorry,
probably
Don.
be an Ed question. When we do the city lot improvement for next year, that'll be addressed. We won't have to mow as many lots in the future, so that should be reflected in our bill, I would assume.
Say that again?
We go out and have their city lots cut.
Oh, the cut. Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear that part.
Because we're not going to be able to, because we already have an agreement for this year, but next year we'll see savings.
As we remove them off as they sell.
So we're seeing the
Less
reduction
cuts.
now, right now.
We'd see less cuts.
Okay.
So we're gonna have 3 coming off after this meeting.
Okay, that's what
Actually, one of them, the lady's already been cutting it. So.
Okay, that's what I was just wondering if we started seeing savings.
Yes,
with
we
that
do see a
already.
reduction. It's a
Okay,
price
great.
cost savings.
Thank you.
Good time to sell then. Thank you again, Ms. Goin. Okay.
You need
All
to
in
vote.
favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Next item is 9F. This is to approve budget amendment 2018-7.
Okay. Could we have a motion before Ms. Sample, I'm sorry.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. Okay. Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is our final budget amendment for fiscal year 18. So it's mostly just cleaning up any areas where we needed to budget a little more or take away so that our fund balance at the end is accurate.
Okay.
One of the things was the Local Community Stabilization Authority. We received the calculations from the state of Michigan on how to allocate that, so there's some small adjustments for that.
Okay.
And the police needed to purchase an emergency radio antenna, so we added that in. So just a few items.
Okay. Any questions from council members? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Katie.
This is item 9G. This is to approve a lot split for parcel number 55-010-01-014-00301. This is for a parcel at the southeast corner of Maple and Hannon Roads.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster. Could we have a little...
Okay. So the council is responsible for all of the parcels in the city. And one of our responsibilities is to make sure that when we have lots, that if they are being sold, that they are split also. So part of this parcel, which is owned by Scrap Busters, is sold to their adjacent neighbor, who's Metro Paving. And so in order to complete the sale, this lot split does need to occur because they're not selling all of the tax parcel of Scrap Busters, only selling a portion to Metro Paving. And so that's why it's before you. And when this does come before us also, you see that we have kind of what we call the parent parcel, which is the legal description of the entire parcel, and then kind of parcel A or child A is the main parcel, and parcel B is then the split parcel. Okay. So it's kind of for taxation purposes. This of course is involving a sale, so there'll be a transfer also to Metro Paving once the split is approved.
Okay. All right. Any questions, discussion? It's been moved and supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 9H is to approve an agreement with Barbara Christner for Youth Services Director until June 30th, 2021.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. Okay. All right. And Ms. Christner, did you want to give just a little update to the council?
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Hello to our new member. Yeah, just a little bit of an update. We're getting ready to go into our summer programming in addition to our normal things that we do, which are working with kids 7 to 17 and their families. And we do anything from conflict resolution to parenting support groups, teen groups, middle school groups, and elementary groups. We work a lot with Wayne Westland schools. We, through one of our grants, are able to hire teachers for after-school tutoring. So we're wrapping that up. So, which leads us into our summer program, which we call STARS. This is our second year, and it's called Student Transition and Readiness for School. So what we do is we take kids that are going from upper elementary into middle school, and for kids that are going from middle school into high school, and we do a 10-week program with them twice a week, where they're with us pretty much of the day, and really just get them. I have teachers that'll be available to work with the kids on classes that they're behind in. We also will have things around conflict resolution, how to get along with each other. We do them in the schools that they're going into during the summer, so the kids kind of get used to, where their classrooms are going to be and feel more comfortable going into a different setting. And we do some field trips, but a lot of skill building to really work with these kids. So that's kind of where we're at right now, and that's again, it's 4 days a week. We do 2 days a week with Wayne Memorial and 2 days with Franklin Middle School students, and the school's been really nice about letting us use the school, so we have the gym for them to do things, and just hopefully, and then we follow those kids into the school year to see how they're doing and continue to mentor them, and it's been a real successful program last year, so we went ahead and did it this year. So.
How do, now are these just like at-risk students that you take? Or
No,
can
this
it be
can be
any?
anybody who's interested in signing their, the school's pretty much advertised for us. So anybody can call 734-721-7004 and just, say that they're interested in placing, one of their children in the STARS program.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, parents have to get their kids there. We don't have transportation, but that's, it would be covered. We just also got a 3-year contract renewed with Wayne County, which is our first contract initiative grant. So that was good because when I started out with this, it wasn't a competitive grant, and it's now a competitive grant. So we were excited to get that. So we know we can sustain ourselves for another 3 years.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes.
With your programs, is there anything do you incorporate the library at all into your programs?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. We've taken kids, showed them how to get their library cards. We've run some of our things at the school. A lot of times during the summer we use it probably even more because the schools are closed and so many of our programs are run at the schools during the school year. So yeah, they're great, just great.
Now, is there ways to help the library with having stuff that would incorporate what you need there? Is there grants for that type of thing that we could be providing more service in the library? That would be.
I can check.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I can answer that right off the top of my head, but
I understand that.
Gladly, yeah,
Okay.
gladly look into it.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Invite you to come
Great.
visit us.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Okay, the wish of council? I mean, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is item 9I. This is to approve a professional service agreement with Stantec for an amount not to exceed $39,500 to provide the operation and maintenance services of the EQ Basin and the stormwater management services for a period commencing on July 1st, 2018 and ending on July 30th, 2019 to be paid from the water and sewer budget.
Okay. Wish of council?
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Porter, supported by Councilman Webster. Hi, Mr. Byton.
Hi, Madam Mayor, members of the council. For many years now, we've had Stantec work on the operation and maintenance of our equalization basin. This is the basin that we have at Josephine Park that diverts sanitary water during high flow times to prevent overflows into the river and to prevent backups into our basements. Stantec has been very instrumental this year as we've worked with other communities to understand possible responsibilities for maintenance of our Rouge Valley sewer disposal system with other communities in our area. Because Stantec has a very good understanding of this because they designed this system, they're able to be our best advocate as we deal with these other communities to show what measures we've taken in our community to reduce sewer flows during peak times. And so because of those reasons, because of their past history with us and their understanding of the system, we're bringing back before you again Stantec for the same amount of the $39,500 from the previous several years now for reconsideration.
Okay. Any other questions or no? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Byton.
Next item is item 9J. This is to approve the purchase of a 2013 Ford Taurus SEL from Jack Demmer Lincoln, Dearborn, Michigan, in the amount of $11,759 to be paid from the police transportation budget.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Racy. And this car will be one that was desperately needed for our police chief. He was able to get a very good deal on this used car, and it has very low mileage. And good job, Chief. Appreciate it. All in favor?
I got
yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
I thought there was something about an addition, that package that you can get.
$1,800.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
sorry
for
to
that's
hear
for
that.
that's for outfitting the vehicle.
Yeah.
But was it 1,800 for the maintenance package for so many years or something?
No.
Wasn't there some type of maintenance thing or something? I remember seeing.
No.
You said no.
Okay.
I didn't think.
It was asked if we should do a warranty with this vehicle, but he assured us that they do impeccable maintenance on these vehicles, that it would not be necessary, if that's what you're referring to, Councilman.
Yeah,
Racy.
the 1,800 you're referring to is to outfit the vehicle. I have to add the radio into
Right, I
it,
understood
the
that.
lights, and things like that.
I just know because of the distance that you're traveling. I mean, is it worth the risk of that? I would think it might be worth.
I don't think it's worth putting the warranty on. That's just my opinion. So the vehicle's in really good shape. The Carfax is really good. It's been taken care of. I think it'll be fine. So.
Okay, I just wanted to double check on that.
And it only has 56,000.
Yeah, it's in very good shape.
So.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Next item is item 9K. This is to approve the purchase of 2019 Ford Explorer police utility vehicle in the amount of $29,159 from Gorno Ford, Woodhaven, Michigan. This is based on a state of Michigan consolidated bid to be paid from the police forfeiture budget.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Porter. Any questions for the chief? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Chief.
When can we expect delivery?
Well, they're not going to start billing them till I think August 10th is the bill date. You're looking at probably 16 weeks after that before you get it. So, yeah. Thank you.
Hopefully our vehicles will hold up till then.
Yeah, I hope so.
Just need to hire a few people to drive them.
Yeah.
Item 9L is to approve the renewal of the contract with Colliers International, subject to an agreement acceptable to the city attorney.
Move approval with one exception. This is the one that has the park on it, correct? Am I looking at the? Okay.
Two parks.
I'd like to take J.C. Park off of this currently. If they get inquiries about it, that's fine. But I'm concerned that we don't know what the status is of the schools, and they're talking about changing some things with schools. And if that happens, I would be wanting to have J.C. Park, and maybe where another school would be what I'd prefer to do. And so if there's a developer that comes our way and they talk to us, we can still visit that, but just not to market that particular park. I would prefer to take that off at the current time.
Anyone? Okay, let's see, we need, so your motion is to move forward but remove J.C. Park?
Yeah, I'm concerned that we're not going to have that in that area, and being that that's my ward, I see that that ward will be without any parks in a certain area, and we're going to I think we're going to be short-sighting ourselves in the future if we just go and sell it currently, because I think that there's some things going to be coming down the pike that will be other developments possibly in that area that we won't have the ability to have that in the future. Nothing's in stone because the schools are still working on stuff, and there's just variables that we don't know. I'm still open to selling it if the right person came. I just don't want to aggressively be selling that particular park personally.
So I guess I have a question. So
should we get support before discussion?
Yes, we need, yes. Can we have support?
It.
Okay, it was moved by Councilman Racy and supported by Councilman Webster to approve the contract with removing J.C. Pardon me?
Oh, was it Webster?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And to remove J.C. Park. So, yes.
So I guess my question is, if we take this off, would that dissuade somebody that's looking at it from moving forward on it? I guess that's really my concern with it, is we just keep it on for now. If we do see that something's happening, then maybe we take it off if it's going to be for the betterment of the city. But at this point, I guess that's just my
I don't know.
That's my take on it.
I'm worried that if something happens and we know something happens late, I just don't know. I just feel like it's a variable that I'm just concerned.
Okay. It has been moved and supported. Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Rowe?
Yes.
So we're going to vote on that Colliers without with eliminating J.C. Park from
Yes.
being included in that. Okay,
Yes.
just want to make sure.
Yes.
And the purpose, just so I'm clear, the purpose of suggestion was a possible opportunity down the road.
Yes.
Well,
Because the
there's school consolidation going to be happening, and they're already talking about that stuff. And I don't know what schools are going to do at this point, but it's quite possible there could be some consolidation in Wayne, you know, and we don't know that factor at this point. It just concerns me that that area is probably one of the most highly populated areas in our city, and there's nothing on that end of that area for the kids to go to. So I could see where it could be used a lot more in the future. I just don't want to short sight ourselves. Or, and we kind of vote on this particular thing, create in that particular one that some type of a park section would have to be left with the development around it that would be open to the city. I'm open to either one. I'm just concerned about having something there for the kids over in that area.
Mayor Rowe.
Yes.
When I think that sort of criteria of fitting that parcel that you just expressed, Councilman Racy, be included with the Collier's agreement instead of taking it completely off?
I'm open either way.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. So do you want to rescind that motion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I believe it was brought up Atwood's in the area.
Yeah.
We can't sell Atwood.
No, we can't sell Atwood.
But
So that's
Atwood's-
another part.
That's Atwood's just different.
But it's
On that
still a
side of-
park.
I understand, but there's still quite a distance for, just in my opinion. I mean, I get it.
Okay.
I mean, I would think for the contract purposes as well, at that point, why wouldn't we go through and hand select which ones we might see fit to not list? But I guess at the end of it all, it doesn't hurt to list it because
we could,
from my understanding, it doesn't cost us anything until we sell it. And if anything, it can get people looking at other parcels. Because I know, you know, when most people look at houses, and I'm just trying to be relatable here, look at multiple houses and you might see something else in the area that you were looking. So I don't see any issue. And also to your point, John, too, if something comes about, we can take it off the listing, I believe, at any time. Also, we can ask for different things when they do purchase the property and put extra conditions in as well.
City Attorney?
2 points that I want to make clear to council. One, once it's listed, if we receive an asking, if our sales price offer, as you may recall from the last agreement, we are obligated to pay that commission.
Right.
So if someone comes in and offers the asking price in full, regardless of whether we decide to sell, we have to pay the commission. So if we decide to say at that time, nope, sorry, we're going to save this for a different opportunity, we still have to pay the commission to Colliers, the way the agreement's written. Secondly, we can ask for an amendment to Colliers, but as the way the contract's written, JC would remain on for the full term. We can certainly add a provision wherein we reserve the right to remove JC at any time in the future, short of an offer. If we want to add additional language to that effect.
Because this is a renewal?
This is the renewal.
It's
Could
the
we add
renewal.
that for any property?
Yeah, we can add language that says reserving the right to remove any property if they're willing to agree to it.
Right.
Yes, due to circumstances that may be unforeseen, that may develop in the future.
And I'd like us to, you know, explore that and have some conversations with schools. I don't know anything. I'm just hearing things on the street, and I don't know. It just creates concern to me that I don't want to just put something out there and get bit later.
I would imagine if we remove it, they're not going to actively market it, so we're not going to have much of an expectation if we take it off.
Right.
I mean, without trying to sway council one way or another, if we still want to see if there's interest but reserve the right to remove it, we can request that that language be added. But I can't imagine that Colliers is going to actively market any property that's not in this agreement.
Right. I agree with that fact that we leave it on as it is right now, but add that little caveat to the contract if Colliers is in agreement with it.
That we reserve the right to remove any one of these properties due to circumstances that are not available or made present to us at the time, short of an offer. Obviously, if someone comes in with an offer, the city and we refuse it and it's 450,000, we have to accept, I mean, we have to pay the money.
We're stupid if we don't, excuse me, but we are. So, yes.
So, I mean, that's an obligation we need to be made aware of. I pointed it out last year. That's part of the reason that in this agreement, before we brought it to council, we wanted to make sure we had sales prices listed.
Right.
So in approving this agreement, I'll reiterate again this year that we're saying this is an acceptable price.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to us and offers us this price, we either accept it, or if we don't, we pay Colliers the commission.
Right.
Hero?
Yes.
I just have to ask this. If we include in these two parcels, those two parks, that we include that part of the description of development includes some green space, just to kind of, off of Councilman Racy's point there, would we be able to do that and still market that?
It would be a restriction on the use of land, and
Part of the development. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it, but I can't imagine. I think it's going to narrow the scope of potential purchasers even more so. In other words, a developer's, that's going to be considered a restriction or a deed restriction, and.
Well, this development can only be for housing.
Right.
Correct.
And part of the housing development that we would request, or that would request that there be some green space included with that development. I'm not saying
like,
what size.
Kind of like how an association has a park for use.
Yes, there's
like
a breeze. That? There's a breezeway between.
Like a common area.
Yeah, common area. That's what I'm speaking of.
That would be a restrictive use on land.
Okay.
We can put a restrictive use on land on any land that we own at any time. We just have to understand that.
Right.
It's a marketability issue.
Right.
Is that something that we could propose to the developer after the fact they initiate some sort of a discussion about that parcel? Or no?
No, they need to be, because right now, the way that this Colliers agreement says, it says that we are able to provide marketable title to all of the properties listed on this table. So what we've done, both Lori and myself, my office, is we have informational title commitments on all these parcels where we've said that these are marketable titles that we can sell free and clear with no restrictive uses. So this would be that would be adding a restrictive use, at which point it would not be considered. There would be an exception to marketable title that would have to be noted on the Colliers agreement itself.
City Manager.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
Brita answered a lot of my, or was actually explained a lot of my concern, but I will say this, you know, obviously we have a pretty wide open door of what could be, you know, as far as homes that could be developed there. It could be closed, it could be whatever it may be. I know, like in my neighborhood, they actually put up signs that no other kids outside the neighborhood can use that park. Mm-hmm. You're going to run into issues when you have a green space in an area like that, unfortunately. And I think that the best thing to do is either take it off the list or keep it on the list, not have it half and half. I get what you're saying, Councilman, absolutely, with all due respect, but I don't want to have the staff or Colliers spend time on a back and forth, this and that. And I think that as if I were a developer looking at this property, I'd want it free and clear all together so I can do what I need to do. Certainly, I think Mayor Pro Tem, you know, if there was something later you want, you know, you could just say, hey, we'd love to see a park in there if you could do that, but it's not going to be our decision. They're going to buy that land. Matt, if I'm correct, I mean, and it's clear title. I mean, they want everything on it. And as you'll recall, one of the things, going back to what state conversation earlier with the state and telling us some things we had to do, one of the things they said is you got to offload some of your properties. And those two, Councilman, if you're not aware, those two parks, obviously, those were two out of the 17 that we have, 19 with 2 trails that actually had infrastructure but had no deed restrictions or anything like that. So those were the 2, and they had land and they had space. So those are the reasons why the state picked those 2 out of all of them, because they went through all of our deeds and found that those were really only 2 that didn't handcuff us. So all I'm saying is that I would just make a choice of either selling it and keeping it or just taking it off the list completely.
I mean, all the parks are concentrated in that one area. The two are there, and there's nothing else throughout the other city. And that's for me, because I have to represent a ward. It's not very beneficial to my ward, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. I've struggled with this particular item after approving it because I talk to people in my area, and there's a lot of concern that they're going to lose that, and I don't want to be short-sighted about it. That we have something for that. People anticipated that people for generations have been using that park, and I just think it would that area would lose out if we were to lose that park entirely. I'm open to a smaller park, but I understand what you're saying.
Yep, that's all. It's just one or the other.
Okay,
Thank
so
you,
we have a motion.
Mayor.
Yes.
My concern with that is that if a developer came in is he going to come in for just one park, or is he going to want multiple places to, you know, to develop? So we have two. I would think the developer would want to buy at least two parks that we have for sale right now to develop rather than just one. That's a really small area with one park. That's just a concern that I have of it. I understand what Councilman Racy is saying. Him and I have spoke about it before. And I do know that it is used somewhat, not as much as some of the other parks, but it is used somewhat. So I do have a little concern about that, but.
Okay. We have a motion. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Madam Mayor, first,
yes.
Just to be clear, can we read the motion we're voting on as if, or as it's written now? Because there was a few.
City Clerk.
There were a few amendment suggestions, and I don't think we took them into consideration.
This was a motion by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster, to approve the renewal of the contract with Colliers with the removal of J.C. Park from the listing.
Right. Okay.
So if we want to add in a provision.
We need to first vote on this.
Sure. One thing from past practice, assuming the motion maker and supporter agree to the amendment, we could make that so it's one motion instead of having multiple. If we as council are wanting to keep it on and just add the provision. That's all I was throwing out there, if the motion maker wants to make any changes or if we should vote.
Do you wish to add the stipulation that we can pull it at any time, basically?
But does that need to be a different motion, or is that, I don't understand.
Well, it would amend your motion.
Agree, then it can be amended without a separate motion.
Yes or no?
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand that we could pull it any time right now, or not really.
We don't have that in the contract right now. No.
So we could add that we could pull that particular item, or do we just do it general for everybody?
We can do it either way. Either way, it's going to be a counter offer to Colliers, right? So this is an offer to enter into an agreement. We can accept their agreement or we can counter. So we can counter and say to pull just this particular park, which is probably going to be more acceptable to them because at least it's a narrow, defined scope, and we're not just trying to pull any property at any given time. Because at that point, they're going to argue the contract's effectively useless if you could pull any property at any given time. So to the extent, if we do want to counter, it should be a narrow, tailored counter.
It'd be better just to leave it the way we have it. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying if you're going to add any sort of provision, the more acceptable one likely for Colliers would just be as to J.C. Park, not to add the general provision that says we can pull any property at any given time. Because that effectively.
But you're saying we can't really take it off, or we could still make that suggestion.
As it stands now, we cannot remove it during the term of the contract. We can, if you would approve it, we can make a counter offer to Colliers and say, we're willing to accept this contract. However, we would like to add a provision that says we can remove J.C. Park at any time during the term of the contract.
Okay, that's fine.
Does support agree?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, just one quick thing, it might help clear everything up. If right now we get an offer that is below asking price through the city or Ms. Going, we don't have to go through Colliers and pay any commissions, and it just comes off of the listing because it's now sold, correct?
No, if it's below asking, it would come to council, but we would still pay Colliers on below asking.
Okay.
If we rejected a below asking, we would not be obligated to pay the commission.
Thank you.
So if someone offered us $440, and it came to us and we said no, we would not be obligated to pay Colliers anything.
Thank you.
All right. So is everyone clear on what we're voting on? Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
We all clear?
Mayor,
okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Miller?
No.
Councilman Racy?
Yes.
Councilman Porter?
Yes.
Councilman Gabriel?
Yes.
Councilman Webster?
Yes.
Councilman Dowd?
Yes.
Mayor Rowe?
Yes.
The motion did pass by a 6-1 affirmative vote.
Okay. All right.
The next item is item 9M. This is to approve calling a special meeting for Tuesday, July 10th, 2018 at 8 p.m.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved by Councilman Webster, supported by Mayor Pro Tem, to move the July 3rd meeting to July 10th. Any discussion?
I just have one question for
Yes.
Matt. Your planning commission meeting, you'll be out by?
I hope so. I do have a planning commission scheduled at 7 o'clock, so I hope that I have an hour. Hopefully I can do so.
Okay, all right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item is item 9N. This is added item. This is to approve a letter of understanding with the Wayne Professional Firefighters Association Local 1620 regarding unused personal leave time.
Move to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster. Any discussion?
Could we just
Any questions?
have some?
Yeah, no, okay.
Evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
As you're aware, the fire department and police department are struggling to fill positions. So
Could you speak right into the mic? Yeah, thank you. They're flanking you, don't worry.
So we've asked the different departments to try and come up with cost savings. The fire department came to us with this proposal, and what it does is we will pay them out for their unused vacation time or personal leave, which alleviates the vacation. Every time there's a vacation day, half the time, 90% of the time, it is overtime. So with this, I'll let Andy go into that, to the number part of it.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, member of council.
Good evening.
So as Carrie was saying about the manpower, shortage of manpower, we can hire guys that keep leaving. We have to keep guys on the street, right? Guys in the trucks. So this was an idea, an out-of-the-box idea, and I really appreciate the city looking at it and saying, okay, let's look at something. But this is an out-of-the-box idea. Instead of making guys take their time, because we have policies that say you have to take your time, you have to lose it. These guys earn the time. They deserve the time. They need to take their time, but they're going to be here anyway. So they said, hey, instead of spending more money paying overtime to fill these positions, why don't we just not use our time, be here, and save money? So we came up with an agreement for the personal time here, and it's a win-win for the city and for our guys. We're going to be here. We want to help the city, want to see the city succeed. A lot of financial issues. This is our way of doing something out of the box.
Okay, and according to this, they would be paid at the end of the year, and if there was need that they needed to take the vacation time or the personal leave time, they would be able to take it, and then it would be less of a payment at the end of the year, correct?
They would be paid for any time they didn't
They
use
did not take, but they could still use their vacation if they wanted.
If they want to take all their time, they can.
Okay.
If they choose not to, then
they would get paid.
Correct.
That'd be a nice Christmas present. Okay, any questions?
I got just one. What's the expected cost savings with doing this?
Right now, for the personal time, is for 2018 June. It's $6,312.45.
21,000.
Oh, that's the next slide.
Yeah.
We'll answer that question in a minute here.
Okay.
So.
Okay. It's any questions for either one of them? No? No? Okay. It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by Councilman Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
The next item is added item 9O. This is to approve a letter of understanding with the Wayne Professional Firefighters Association Local 1620 regarding unused vacation leave time.
Okay. Wish of
Move
council.
to approve.
Support.
It's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Miller, supported by, was it Webster or Porter?
Either one.
Either one. Okay, we'll put Webster. Any discussion or questions? And the figure for the savings was?
So the projected possible savings is $21,300.44.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for thinking of that.
out-of-the-box thinking.
Appreciate it.
The next item is item 10, administration reports.
Do we have any reports from the city manager?
I am going to just stick to one item tonight.
Okay.
Yes, and it's going to be Mike Byton giving a probably 30 to 60-second report on Cadillac Apartments.
Oh, yay, my favorite subject.
Don't hold your breath, though.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, for quite some time we've tried to be patient with Cadillac Apartments. They've purchased the land a while back, and they came to us with a plan, and they took quite a while, but they eventually sought permits from us, and so we worked through that process in hopes that they would continue to move forward. It's been quite some time, and we've had difficulty with them trying to get them to move forward. And so on June 7th, we issued a ticket to Cadillac Apartments under Section 88204 of our ordinance, which requires a neat and clean exterior of a building. And so they will be in court with us day after tomorrow to figure out how we're going to move forward.
Okay.
It's our local court here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mike, did you?
Thank you, Mike.
For people that it sounded like a person or two in the audience would think about coming to this. This wouldn't be like a court case before the judge. This will be our city attorney meeting with our ordinance officer and the owners of the property to figure out how we're going to get things resolved before we have a formal court case. Thank you.
Thank you very much for working on that.
So the next item are citizens' comments or requests on items not on the agenda. Citizens are to limit their comments or requests to 3 minutes. The City Council asks that if you do have a question or concern, to bring it to the attention of the appropriate departments whenever possible. If you feel that the matter has not been resolved satisfactorily, you are encouraged to bring it to the attention of the city manager, and if still not resolved satisfactorily, to the mayor and the city council. The mayor, the city council, and the department heads may not respond to questions at the meeting, but will respond by the next city council meeting or as soon as possible once they have looked into the matter.
Excuse me. Are there any citizens' comments? Yes, ma'am. You need to come up to the microphone.
It's real quick.
Yeah.
I can't hear throughout the whole meeting.
Okay.
I don't know if it's me, if everybody else doesn't, but the microphones don't seem to be picking up voices and sending them back here.
Okay.
That's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you. We are working on fixing the audio system in here. It may take a while, but we are working on it. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Yes, Mr. Paul.
Hi, Lenny Paul on Hull. I just got a question basically to the chief with the new vehicle. Can we put bought by forfeiture on the bumper? Because that seems to deter. Dearborn's doing it. You know, it's just vinyl. I don't know if they can do it or not.
You can look into that.
Okay, and the second one is just to invite everybody to Derby's Alley tomorrow from 6 to 9 to play games and just have fun, meet new people.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Next item?
Is item 11, items for the next agenda?
I'm sorry, there's one more gentleman.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Dave Cook. I'm from the Wayne Towers. I just been noticing there's a lot of graffiti, game graffiti on Super Place, especially by my place, the eatery. There's, you know, game graffiti. I just wonder what's going on about that. Does anybody know? Is that from certain departments or?
The chief will look into it. The chief of police will look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Anyone else? Agenda?
The next item is item 11, items for next agenda.
Are there any items for the next agenda?
Okay. So the next item is item 12, consent calendar. There are 2 items before you.
Wish of council? We have planning commission minutes and the downtown development authority minutes.
Motion to accept without exception.
It's been moved by Councilman Ford. Supported by Councilman Racy. All in favor?
Aye. I just want to say thank you for adding the minutes in with these commissions. I know it's been asked for a little bit now, and It provides a lot of visibility to what we're approving. One thing that caught my eye as far as what the DDA is doing to help promote the downtown days is advertising. It was shown that we're allocating about $5,000 or so to advertising. Do you happen to know what kind of advertising is planned for the downtown days?
Yes, Miss. I'm supposed to answer. Right. Okay. Can you give a response to us in writing?
In writing? Absolutely.
Okay. Because I know it's an extensive list of different things that we're going to be doing for marketing of that.
Oh, it could have been just like a scope, but it's fine. I'll wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, we have a motion. All in favor then of moving forward with the,
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
opposed?
So these are comments from members of the city council.
Okay, we will start with our newest member.
I just wanted to thank everybody in the city that's made time for me. I've been meeting with department heads for over a week now, and then planned into this week meeting with department heads. And it's very insightful to see and hear what everybody's doing. I really enjoyed the time with the chiefs and also with the finance department and learning more about how we actually share our documents and put them on the website. And going forward, I look forward to giving you an exceptional 6 months. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Porter?
Thank you, Mayor. One quick announcement here. I'll have to read this one because I couldn't memorize it. The Wayne Library tomorrow, June 20th at 6:30 p.m. will present Paul Demerick, Sola Marimba for all occasions. While playing beautiful music from the greatest classical composers, Paul Demerick shares his musical journey as well as interesting facts about the composers and their compositions. Furthermore, Paul educates his listeners on his wonderful instrument, the marimba. So that's tomorrow, June 20th at 6:30 p.m. at the library. I want to say congratulations to Mr. Dowd. Welcome, Councilman. That's all.
Thank you. Councilman Gabriel?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to remind everybody, obviously, to be safe with the coming holiday, and also to be respectful and mindful of the firework ordinances that are in place. I know it's obviously going to be a challenge, but try to be respectful and not create a nuisance with it. As we all know, many pets and also PSD or PTS folks that have that also suffer a little bit of anxiety with fireworks as well. So again, just be mindful, be cognizant of our ordinances, and also most importantly be safe as we try to minimize the number of runs, because we are shorthanded on emergency staff. So again, it is going to be very helpful in that regard. Also, I'd just like to again thank the city administration and department heads for moving forward so rapidly on the sidewalk replacements. It was just very almost overwhelming to see the number of sidewalks getting replaced, as far as reducing liabilities for trip hazards, but also making it more appealing for new homeowners, because it is one of the key things that people look for, ironically enough. And also some programs require sidewalks to be in good shape. So I think it's really helping out not only the community aesthetics, but also the future community demographics coming into the city. With that, I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you. And then Councilman Webster?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to first by welcoming Kevin Dowd to City Council. I look forward to working with you. I know you're going to do some good things in this next couple months, so congratulations again. Reminder at Derby's Alley tomorrow from 6 to 9 is family game night, so if everyone wants to come out, it's a great community building event. And finally, I just want to give kudos to the fire department with their forward thinking. It's nice where we can save money where we can, so good job, guys.
Thank you, Mayor. I as well want to welcome you, Councilman Dowd, and I'm sure this past week's been a very, very busy, exciting one for you. And I wish you well, I wish you the best, and I'm glad to have you on board here with your passion for this community. I also want to mention that, and actually share with Councilman Porter about our Parks and Trails Committee. We're still looking for some good volunteers. We've got an exciting opportunity here in this community for Parks and Trails. I want to refer to, for those that are familiar with Heritage Park in the city of Taylor, once we get this committee together, I'd like to just go on a field trip with you all and take you there and see and look and see what they have done for their community with the 501c committee and for grants as well. Also, I want to mention that, as well as Main Street had brought up, all the exciting things. Summertime is what it means in Wayne is fun. And we're going to have a lot of fun coming up here. So I encourage everybody to take their opportunity to check out the website. All the solicitation will be delivered to your home regarding all the activities that are occurring here in downtown Wayne. And last but not least, before here, I was at a fundraiser for the library millage. And is this something I cannot speak on? Okay. I'll refrain from that comment. Other than that, I want to wish everybody a safe upcoming here few weeks. A lot of activity going on through our metropolitan area. And with that, I will pass. Oh, one other thing. Everyone's going on vacation. So please be sure that you let your neighbors know so they can keep an eye on it. Let the police department know. So we can help cut down on some activity that we don't want to occur while we're away. We can come home and be able to come back and say we had a great vacation.
Thank you, Mayor. Couple things. Had a great experience over the weekend with the Main Street did a bike tune-up thing with all the bike racks, and there's going to be a lot of biking things that they're promoting. And I took that opportunity to get my bike tuned up. And I was surprised what a tune-up actually does for your bike. I was like, wow, this feels like a totally new bike. They had 15 to 16 people in the community that took advantage. And you have to be a Wayne resident to be able to do this. But it was, I think it's like a $50 value to have them do that. And they're doing it this Saturday and next Saturday, the last 2 Saturdays in July, from 12 to 4 at the Wayne Bike Shop and bicycle shop, and it definitely was worth it. I didn't even realize I could raise my handlebars, and that made a big difference in how I was able to ride. So I really appreciated Main Street doing that for us, and it got me to do it. And I know there's other people that are now wanting to ride in the community because of it. So I thought that was a real positive thing. And with that, I also wanted to announce it was announced over the weekend, the Wayne Rotary's 2018 Concerts in the Park schedule. It was already mentioned that Steve King and the Diddleys will kick it off on July 13th on that Friday night. And there's actually going to be an extra singer that we didn't have last year. There'll be a female singer, so they'll be able to do things that they didn't do in last year's performance. So it's going to be really great. The Wednesday night shows will start at 7:30, starting on July 18th. And will be the first time we've had a country band. This band is called Country Fix. If you go to the Rotary's Facebook page, there's actually websites that you can check out all these bands. On the 25th, there's a band called Square Pegs. It's an 80s tribute band. August 1st, we're bringing back Toppermost, who was here last year. It's a Beatles tribute band. People had a great time with that. August 8th, Your Generation in concert, which every time we bring them in, it just seems to get bigger and bigger with that. People seem to really enjoy that. We actually have a resident that's actually in that band, which is pretty cool. On August 15th, there's a band called Rockstar, and they're going to do a tribute to all the hair bands. So they'll be actually changing costumes to different hair bands that you have grown to love over the years. And then, yeah, the people have long hair, the long hair bands, the rockers. It'll be a variety of things: Bon Jovi, Poison, that kind of stuff. then on August 22nd, Magic Bust, which we had last year, that was a 60s, 70s. They had this puppet. They had a van that they brought out. It was really neat. And then on August 29th, we're going to have Elevation, which is an international U2 tribute show that's coming from Toronto. And really excited about that. I have friends that are in the music scene in Canada and have seen this band 5-6 times and said that they're incredible. So I think that that's going to be great. And I want to just mention two of our sponsors that have really stepped up, and all of our sponsors, it's greatly appreciated. But Mark Chevrolet and Wayne Westland Federal Credit Union are our two largest sponsors at the moment. So just appreciate all the sponsors and everybody that takes part to make this happen, because if the businesses in our community didn't come together in the Rotary, this doesn't happen. And I think it's a really great event for our community and families and people to come to our city. I've actually had the guy that does the Plymouth concerts in the park tell me that he has been approached. People are coming to Plymouth asking what's going on in Wayne this summer. So it's a good thing to hear. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I also want to welcome Kevin to the board. He and I will be the lane governors. With that, I passed out to members of council two things I had copied for you. It's a fact sheet just reminding you of the new law about campaigning by public officials. Please read it over. It's very important as to what we can and can't do and say while we're sitting up here. So please read that over. And then the other thing was the legislative analysis that I received from the House Fiscal Agency on the Marijuana Facilities Act and the Marijuana Tracking Act. Both of them are very good, and you know, I know you're having trouble sleeping. The other thing is, as Ms. Goyne had mentioned before, through the Community Development Block Grant Program, we have set funds aside for the Wayne Housing Rehabilitation Program. And again, there are flyers out in the lobby. Please, if you meet these income levels, you know, there is assistance to do some work on your homes if it's needed. So please look at it, and if you have any questions, you know, you can reach out to Lori on this, but it's being handled through Wayne Metro and Wayne Metropolitan Community Action Agency, and their phone number is 734-284-6999. And then also a reminder, Wednesday, August the 1st, from 2 to 6 p.m., it's going to be the 3rd annual Family Safety Awareness Day at Beaumont Hospital. It's always a fun event. You learn all kinds of things. They have all types of vendors there that can be really helpful. And they have free bicycle helmets from 2 to 4 and a Jaws of Life demonstration at 4 p.m. And with that, just everybody have a safe 4th of July. And please, I've already had fireworks going off on my block. Yeah. And it's very... It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, yeah. Yes, very disturbing. And people, please, the post-traumatic stress issue to me is even more vital than I know how pets can get anxious. But to me, for those people that have PTSD, it's a traumatic event for them to have to relive some of the things that they had already experienced with the going off of fireworks. So please be cognizant of the fact of your neighbors, and you're not supposed to be shooting them off until the day before the holiday.
The day before, of, and after. It's an ordinance in the city.
So that's 3 days. So you can shoot them off on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, and that's all. Not now. Okay? So if you got them going off, please call the non-emergency number at the police station and let them know. If you especially can tell them where they are being shut off from. Be appreciated. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Support.
Moved by Councilman Racy, supported by Councilman Webster. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Let's go.
Carried.